Cheers to you, kid.
Cheers to you, too. He's looking at you, kid. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Elk Lodge podcast. As always, this show is brought to you by Hexa Coffee, our favorite coffee, and soon to be your favorite coffee once you try it. We're particular about the Behemoth blend.
It's the one we've grown to drink on like a daily basis.
Right, that's our regular, but they also
brew.
age some of their beans in like whiskey barrels and bourbon barrels.
And they're sophisticated. They're sexy. They're wonderful. I mean, they just, if a coffee could be sexy, it's this.
So if you want to drink sexy coffee, be a little sexier, order Hexa
Wake up,
Coffee
sexy.
online. That's hexacoffee.com, Hexe coffee.com. And if you use the promo code ELK, you're going to get 10% off of your purchase. What a deal.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Who do we have on the show today?
I knew it was coming.
Were you going to ask me?
Yeah, I was going to say, so Paul, who's on our show today?
Well, so Christine, who's on our show today?
It's our girl, our shared friend since forever, Jillian Jacoby, a.k.a. Jillian Pottishman, a.k.a. Renee, a good friend.
A.k.a. Big Jelly.
a.k.a. Big Chili. She's just awesome. It was cool talking to her about her career and kind of some of the changes she's been on in that route. And, you know, we didn't go down the rabbit hole as much as I thought in terms of memories, but we certainly scratched some of the surfaces.
Definitely. Yeah. And we've known her our whole lives and never quite had a conversation like this. Enjoy.
I'm just going to do this. This is just working, so let's just do. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
We hear you. You hear us?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I'll
Jill,
just
what
do this
time did
then.
you sit down to take Zoom calls this morning? Like sessions?
Well, first of all, I don't use Zoom, but I use another system. That's why I can't get the sound to work because I'm not used to it.
Oh,
Gotcha.
what's your other system?
Probably like, it's called Theranest,
Oh.
I don't know that one.
like HIPAA compliant. Yeah.
In what way? Like it's encrypted or something? You can't record it? Like what's...
Who knows?
You can't record, I know that. I don't know. I just pay the fee, and I looked it up and said that one was a good one.
So they just cornered the market for being the
Yeah,
therapy Zoom.
Yeah, well, Simple Practice is like the one, and then I chose like the second one.
Gotcha. And you're...
Yeah, what?
Well, so for the people listening, what is your exact job? A therapist? Psychologist?
I am a counselor, therapist. Yeah.
And you opened your own private practice last year. I forget exactly when it was.
Like the first of the year, I was on my own.
Okay.
So
yeah, you're like more than halfway through the fiscal year, and you've mentioned it a little bit, but like, are you feeling happy? And
yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I don't sound happy, but like, yeah, I'm making like I get to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. It's the dream. I'm living the dream.
Nice. Yeah. What's
Cool.
is there any challenge that you didn't expect?
Yeah, a million.
Okay,
but
what's a
even
notable one?
today. Okay, insurance companies not answering their phone, and so you have to you have a problem, and you can't solve it unless you put like 30 hours into it, and then you're still confused.
Gotcha.
yeah.
So your whole
and then there's
a lot of
like
your life is
a
jumping through these
universal
hoops.
blanket excuse of COVID, like covered on everything. Like every tech support line has been down. You know what I mean?
Due to the
It's
pandemic,
like
we're experiencing longer wait times.
Longer wait times than
Yeah.
usual, and expect
Yes.
like a lowered callback rate. It's just like people have an excuse, which is real. It's very real. Like
But they
it
lean on
interrupted
it,
everything,
too.
but they lean on it.
Yeah. I wonder for how long
Christine,
they'll
you're
keep
like-
leaning on it.
Ripping on them.
She's like, and then I'm sitting there on the phone for 6 fucking hours.
Because Jillian, I feel you. I fucking feel that. Yeah.
No, but it's so true. Like every company has this excuse, and like you'd be a fool not to use it. That's all.
I mean,
you know, like why
Yeah,
not
it's
say,
sort of
hey,
like
look,
if you've got
maybe
it,
it'll take
flaunt it.
longer. You know, these crazy times, in these trying times. you
Yeah,
know?
if you fuck up, you have an excuse. Like the supply chains, it's just COVID. It's just
Right.
Everything. It's valid.
We're in unprecedented times.
We
Have
are.
you yourself used this excuse with clients and stuff?
No, the only thing I can think of is like the when are you going back to the office thing.
And you're like, I don't know. I don't feel good about it. Don't feel safe yet. Not yet. It's not safe
It's
yet.
a little too soon to,
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know when it'll be
Things
right.
are just unclear still, so I haven't decided.
But at the same time, that is a very valid point. It's like, why would we meet in person, and why should I take on this added anxiety for everybody?
Not only an
therapy?
added anxiety, but like a true risk.
Sure, of course.
Like
I mean, now we know. If you asked me a month ago, I'd be like, is there a risk anymore? But no, it's like, okay, I guess there is. We're back.
Right.
But like, also it's just working. So if there was like a situation where I was like, I could name a group of people that could really benefit from me going back to the office, and it makes sense. And like, I'm trying to support, like my job is to help people. So if it makes sense for them, I'm going to go back. But I can't like group even a people where I would say this makes complete sense for them. It would be easy for them to get to me. It wouldn't be a stressor. So I was like, all right, when that happens, I'll go back even one day a week. It's not a big deal. It's probably good for me.
Yeah.
But
is there anything
I respect that.
Other than the convenience of it? Is there any benefit you've noticed in these Zoom calls, like doing therapy over a video chat versus in person? Is there any benefit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even for like when I'm in my own sessions, if I go to therapy, I feel like I'm like drinking my coffee in the morning, and it's like a routine now where it's like, it's just, that's really intimate. I feel like to like share my coffee with someone. I feel like I've been more comfortable, and at least in me on the other end, like in therapy. And then other people, I'm trying to think of like benefits. There's a million, but I can't really, I guess, think of it.
I wonder if your clients like, open up more as well,
I'm
being
sure.
in their
I mean,
comfort
if I
spot, like
did,
wherever
they
they're
must.
calling from. Exactly. Like, they have the benefit of maybe not having to have gotten out of bed or like sitting on their own couch, which if you're like somebody who maybe is like experiencing a bout of depression, that's a big relief to instead of having to like put pants on and go to a session in the city somewhere.
And there's no excuse of like, oh, I didn't bring the paperwork, the journal that I've been doing. I didn't bring this, or it's like, oh, I'll check. Like, it's like, no, do your email now. Like, I know you have your computer, so you can do this thing you need to do on your to-do list, and I can watch you do it. Or it's like all of the above though. Like I don't have hardly any missed sessions anymore.
That's awesome.
People are like,
that's
fuck,
that's
it's
a
like,
good
no,
statistic.
Totally. That is a cool one. And that doesn't feel good for anyone, because then it's like they have to wait, or, it's not a good situation.
Yeah. That's a cool one.
As a therapist, does it help you also that you get to see them in their world? Like, I mean, let's just say their house was like a mess and there's cat shit everywhere, and you're just like, oh, like, okay, I understand more now what's going on here, versus like you just like putting on a sweater and coming to my office,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
is there any of that?
Like, there might be cat shit all over my house right now, and you would have no idea. So
okay, right. People kind of frame
just a very small
the camera
look.
how they want.
But sorry.
Yes, there has been cool things where or even like people's pets being able to be on their lap during session, or like
Makes them so calm.
There's no like fast L ride. Like, I live in Chicago, so it's like you take the L to therapy. It's like so hectic, so intense. You finally get to my office, you're sweating, you're all these things, and that's all not there either.
Yeah,
where
cool.
That whole noise. I mean, I think that is good for people with anxiety, because I'm like, what was that like? You could work through it and bring them down, and then they really think I'm doing my job well. But
cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and I gotta imagine too, sometimes for the depressed person, like that therapy appointment, having to leave the house can probably in some cases be a benefit.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only thing that gets me out of the house now is this therapy appointment. It's like, it's what's maybe like.
Those are the patients though that Jillian's talking about. Like, those would be the clients that would be like worth meeting in the office, because that like what they require is facing their agoraphobia or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Do you think in the future you'll just offer both? It's like, if you want to meet in person, if you think you benefit more from that, we got that. And if you want to meet, drinking your coffee with your cat on your lap, I do that too.
We got that. You want it?
We got it. We got
It's
it. Whatever
cool,
you
though.
want, we got it.
I know, like, I mean, obviously not to get into it, but like your safety too, the safety factor of like having a screen between you and, you know, some of your more like unruly clients or people who are having like an aggressive reaction to something. That's got to be kind of a nice plus too.
I'm lucky in terms of that hasn't been a thing that I've had to think about like in the last couple years. But yeah, I could imagine for someone else in my position who has that, it is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But even so, when someone's like having a coughing attack or like sneezing, or they're like, oh, I went to Lollapalooza, and I'm just like, oh my God, thank God we're not in the office. Because that doesn't have to be anything I think about now for think about it for like 6 seconds and then I can move on.
Yeah,
Right.
you don't have to worry for the next 7 to 14 days.
Totally. And question everything about my life and my job choice and all that.
Right. Did you always want to be a therapist?
Yeah, but like I didn't know what a therapist meant. You know, like I was like, psychology is cool. I had never taken a psych class. And then I just like kept going. I don't think I really knew what being a therapist meant until I was like in grad school.
So what was it about it that you liked before you knew even what it meant?
I knew like I had my family friend who was a therapist and we have a lot in common, and she just explained what she did. And I was like, that sounds amazing. I loved like even, I mean, Dr. Melfi on Sopranos or like on Law and Order, the forensic psychology, just all of that was so interesting. I always get like attached to that. Books, psychological thrillers. I was always like, what's going on there? Just wanting to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I guess those ideas, but again, I didn't really know what it meant and what it would take. I especially didn't know. I got very lucky that I get to like choose my schedule and I work for myself. Like that worked out really well. I didn't know that was like an important thing I cared about. If you would have asked me, like a 9 to 5 was just like, oh, it's consistent, it's good. Now I'm like, I could never imagine.
Right.
Good for you. Yeah. I'm glad you've rewritten and like taken more ownership over that as, you know, with time, because I always remember you would like have a 3-hour round trip commute to get like in and out of the city, and you had such a good attitude about it, and you were just like, oh yeah, like I like it, I know I have this like me time every day, and like I listen to podcasts or books on tape, and I just remember feeling like happy that can she even hear me?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Okay,
Can you hear us still, Jill? You froze for a sec.
You froze. You back? Where's our girl?
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
I heard everything you said though.
Okay, cool. Basically, yeah, just I was happy you were happy, but I also couldn't relate to that because I didn't have anything near that level of like transit in my life, and I thought it was so foreign, you know? But now you don't have that, you know? Like you kind of cut that out, like you said, you're able to like slow down, like even the act of having coffee in a mug instead of a to-go cup, like these have sort of like
that is life changing.
Yeah,
That's
and like
so
you were like meal prepping. I mean, you had so many things that you had to do to sort of like support that system. You know,
yeah, definitely.
And it's cool that now
the system's crazy. Thank you. That's so nice.
Yeah, it's cool. It's great to see that you've gotten to do that.
Yeah, I know. The system is crazy. I reflect on it because it's like, can you guys see me?
Yeah.
We sure can.
Okay. I had to work years and years, no pay. I had to commute an hour and a half for 2 years. Like it's just hard. And then you get paid. Was like getting paid like nothing to drive an hour and a half, but I got such good training that I loved the damn job.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think like, well, could never do that again, and it took years off my life and my car's life, but like, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
it's over. Yeah,
it's hard to like, you know, resent it now because it's been the stepping stone that got you to where you are.
Totally.
So it sounds like what your initial interest in this was just like the curiosity of like the human mind and what makes people tick and how people work, and I'm sure now there's this added like you help people also. And like, was that part, like, I want to help people? Was that part of it? Is that something that you sort of realized later? Like, holy shit, I'm actually like, I just helped somebody today. Like, or is it still for you? It's not like you're like, I don't care about helping people, but is it still for you mostly about the like this fascination with the mind and what makes people tick, sort of?
Like all ends, but like you guys knew me when I was a kid. When you think of me when I was a kid, like don't you think of like Scott and like just like loving helping people? And I just always was like that. And I don't know, maybe I'm the middle child, but I think first it started with helping people and like me always loving to help. Like I was at the Special Olympics. I was always obsessed with all that. But again, yeah, hanging out with Scott all the time.
I was going to say, I relate to you, but I feel like this, correct me if you don't agree, but like, I think you also play like the part of peacekeeper a lot in your family.
Yeah.
Or your world, you know? And I think you and I are similar in that way.
When I think of you growing up, we grew up together for the people listening, but I actually think of like your bluntness. You're like a frank,
you are
relatively filterless person, not in a like you look like shit, but you're just like
not in an aggressive way, just straightforward.
Heard you broke up. What happened? Or like whatever. Like I think of you as someone like that. You
so direct.
You're very direct, and there's not like a filter there, and it's never like you're nosy. You're just asking these questions,
genuinely
but
curious,
with a very straightforwardness. That's kind of, and I feel like that's like a natural skill you have. I don't know if that's anything anyone can learn, and I would imagine that helps you approach therapy. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree. I am assertive, aggressive, and it totally helps me.
I like it. I like that.
You know, and in
cut
good
through the tape. You know, it's just like you're just kind of sifting through the surface stuff to find the true grit, which I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not like let's talk about the weather kind of a person, which is great. I love that.
Yeah, I know.
Thank
I feel like
that's so funny.
It's true though, because I feel like, you know, over the years, I've unfortunately gotten to see you less and less. Right, like we haven't lived in the same state in ages, but I always feel like you do a good job as soon as we're together to like cut to the fat. What's this? I don't know. There's like a saying I want to do, but I don't know it. But you like get to the chase. You cut to the chase.
Get to the meat of it.
Yeah, get to the meat of it. That's what it is.
I think that's a saying, right?
Yeah.
But we're so close, and I know you so well. Like it's like, what are we going to talk about? Like,
well, no, but
I just Paul aren't in love, and like you might get married soon. Like, of course, that's the first thing I'm going to ask.
No, I know, but I just feel like there's a certain,
but you also
like,
are like, how's the sex, or like, you know, or like,
you do,
are you
like,
guys
straight
like,
to it.
do you ever think about other people? Like, are you afraid she's going to cheat on you? Or like, you haven't asked me these questions directly, but you get like, let's have an interesting conversation.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like that's more what you're into versus like, let's kill some
party
time.
Trick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's your party trick. Yeah.
It is.
When you're in therapy, how much are you able to just like kind of ride the ride of like, I'm playing this role, or are you sort of analyzing the therapist, or you're like, you're going to ask that question? Like what a rookie question, or like, you know, or are you like, ooh, that's good, I'm going to use that. You know, how often do you kind of like switch?
I mean, who am I to like know what's right and wrong? We're so different. And so at first I'm like, oh, I don't know if it's working, or I don't know if this is for me, just because I was like, oh, this isn't what I viewed therapy as, because we're so different. But now it's been a while. It's like 2 years with her, maybe 3 years. And it's just, now this is what therapy is to me. Like when I go to therapy, it's completely separate from what I do. It's like a different language. Like I'm not.
The idea of imposter syndrome doesn't really creep in.
No, not at all. And we're just such different therapists. And it's for me, it's like, it doesn't even connect. Like sometimes at the end, I'm like, hey, I have a quick question about billing, or like, just like, and then I'll be like, and she'll say something, I'm like, okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Are you like,
or yeah,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Or like one time, like her dog barked. I was like, it's so nice that she's human, and like that I'm not having a reaction, because my fear is always like clients will know I'm a human, and I'm like, they know that I'm not like alone in an office building, like sitting, like, you know, like, and
at their beck and call.
Exactly. And when she has like a human moment, I'm like, oh, like you're allowed to be human, and like the person doesn't care.
Right. Well, do you find yourself talking a lot about being a therapist? I mean, it's a big part of your life. So are you like, oh, like I'm dealing with insurance, like that's annoying, you know, like think because they can relate to it, like, or is it not really? Does that not really enter the conversation?
Sorry,
I froze.
You're good. You're back.
Hi.
I'm trying to.
Jesus.
No, like when I was opening the practice, like every session was like the stressors of insurance, or like just like what the fuck am I doing, or like, you know, whatever. And then I would say in the last like 4 months, it's never once been brought up that I'm like a therapist. And, you know, if there's like a situation, I'll like talk it through, but really I've never like, maybe a few times I've like told her about specific situations and like just said like it's been hard, but no.
Is it
I have,
common?
like,
Sorry.
what?
No, go ahead.
I have like my coworker friends, like my colleagues that are therapists, that like if I had something that I wanted to like work through or figure out about specific like situations, that's who I would go to.
Gotcha.
That's
Someone you
good.
kind of talk shop, but therapy is more for
exactly.
therapy. Are most therapists in therapy?
Yeah, I mean, I say that, but I'm like, I live in Chicago, where my therapists I know are in Chicago, so I'm basing off of like where I live and the people I know who are therapists. But like in grad school, they really pushed for it. Again, I went to a liberal grad school in Chicago, so I don't know.
I mean, the stigma in general
sense,
of
though.
therapy has dwindled since we were kids. Even like when we were kids, it was like, I don't need therapy. Like,
If anything, I think it's having like a real moment, you know? I mean, look at the Olympics and
What do you mean?
Simone.
what do you mean?
Have you not heard about this? How do you say your last name? Simone Biles or what?
Biles. Wait, Paul, for real? You have no idea?
He doesn't read the news much.
Well,
But-
that she's in therapy or something?
Well, okay, so she obviously is the most decorated gymnast in the world.
Right. She's the greatest.
Right. Greatest of all time. GOAT.
Yes, the GOAT.
And she bowed out from competing last week in multiple events in the Olympics because she was not in the most stable place mentally and feared for her safety doing all these crazy physical moves. And I mean,
Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
broke the internet. I don't know how you missed it. Jillian's like, how did you miss it?
I mean, I see her face everywhere,
guess
but I just
the
assume like,
news
oh
are
yeah,
one
the
thing.
Olympics are on. Like, you know.
No, she declined to compete, and it upset and outraged tons of people who shouldn't be allowed to control her life. Like, she was fighting for her mental health, and then there's now a huge group of people supporting her in that.
Yeah.
So-
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're mad at her, you're weird. It's like you got to go
Well, a lot
flip
of-
around for me. Like,
Yeah, I
What?
guess it was like, yeah, I don't really know. I don't even know how to pretend that they had a valid argument.
but okay, but the point I was making is that like there used to be much more of a stigma of
Yeah,
going to therapy in general for anyone.
yeah.
I would assume in that era though,
Even
well,
more for men, I'd say.
yes. But my question is, in that era, were therapists also like, I don't need therapy, or were they more like, therapy is good, like I you know,
Yeah, I'm
was
sure
the
they're
stigma
open to
there
it.
for them too?
Probably not.
Do you know?
I have no idea. But like, again, I just think about like, didn't Dr. Melfi in Sopranos go to therapy?
Yeah,
Back to
she
him.
she had a therapist. Yeah,
I just
You
said
have a
back to
therapist.
him. I've never seen Sopranos.
Back to him. I don't know. I assume, I mean, again, here's the thing. Insurance probably didn't cover it as well then, so therapists couldn't afford it, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's not like therapists are super rich, and so maybe now insurance covers it, like we're more, you know, it's easier to go to therapy now.
I would say that's part of what's ended the whole stigma, because
Exactly.
accessibility to therapy is at an all-time high, which means so is people accepting the service, which means more people are hearing and know somebody doing it, and that's how stigmas are shattered.
yeah.
Yes.
But I
So
feel like
would say it's
probably the
about
stigma
money.
socially was also going away, which made insurance wanna
Exactly.
had to include it more, which made people
Right,
use it
made it
more, which made
probably-
insurance use it even more, and like
True.
I think
But
everything
even
kind of went
the
together.
Simone Biles thing, which was interesting, was like right after she decided. So I think it was like all super quick. She just like walked back out into the cameras. They were like, "Are you injured? What's going on?" And she said, "I'm not injured." And they said, "Is it a mental health thing?" And she said, "Yes." And I feel like that's the moment of like, that would never have been a thing. Like, are you injured? No. Then like, they'd be like, what the fuck's going on? But the fact that she then had a moment of like mental health is enough where it's like, just like I tore my ACL.
Right.
That was like that's what I was thinking was like, that's huge that she got to say out loud, like mental health is enough to pull me. Where that was like, I mean, that's never happened before in the world.
Well, it happened just not long ago with Naomi. I don't know her last name.
Is that the tennis girl?
The tennis girl, who bowed out of the Wimbledon. I think it was Wimbledon. Maybe the French Open. Wimbledon,
I think so, but everyone
Wimbledon.
just was hating her so much. And she beat Serena.
Yeah, but it's that, you're right, Jillian. It's like, it's having the spotlight, like doing that in the platform on such a grand scale. I saw a comic.
Walked out and did
I
it.
saw a comic today that was pretty cool, and it was like, 3 gymnasts on the podium, like first, second, third, whatever, and then it was Simone Biles like doing the splits or like an air, like some whatever move above them, like well above the first place.
Right.
And it's true, like the gift she's given our culture of saying like, I'm enough, like it's such a powerful act. And like,
yeah. Well, and people are so weird.
I really admire that they did that.
I agree. It's admirable. I think people are so weird too that like they feel like athletes owe them something. Like you're there representing our country, and you're just gonna bow out because you're sad.
Yeah.
Like
you got an accent
like,
when you're
just,
doing that.
You're just,
like, those are the
you're
same
there
people
gonna
who
bow
say
out for our country.
Those are the same people who say, "Man up, man up."
Man, well, it's like, but also like she's a gymnast. It's like if this was a soldier or something, or like a firefighter who's like, I'm not feeling it today. You'd be like, well, look, like I get it, but like people are dying in this building. So like in that situation, I would at least understand. That still matters that the person their mental health matters just as much. But in that situation, I would at least understand a little bit of like, but we need you, like you have to like man up or like power
but like,
through.
Can you be here with us now to
like,
do this
please
now?
overcome this because this is very important. But she's a gymnast. Like she's going to flip around.
Right.
Everyone's going to say that's great. And they're going to applaud. But she's an entertainer or she's an athlete. It's like, it's such a weird thing to fucking care. It's so weird.
It hasn't hit. I feel like it's happened in so many ways in our culture. Like Vietnam gets a bad reputation of like, really not taking care of the vets when they came home and like getting them, addicted to drugs and like having all these people. That was sort of like the first wave of people that came of PTSD, right? That was like when soldiers started getting PTSD. And now I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I hear a lot about like supporting military in a different way. And like, I don't know. There's shifts in the way we support military. There's shifts in the way we mentally support like police officers now.
Sure.
And like everything, including athletics. It's like everything's going to have its heyday. Like everything's coming.
And everything's evolving, you know, like we become more and more empathetic and understanding. We have become incredibly more in the past 20 years, let alone the past like 40, 50 years.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
like
there was
the
like
less
there was
barbaric
PTSD
humanity.
from World War I, but they just called it shell shocked. And these people were like crippled and fucking like because the constant barrage of these bombings in World War I was like so many people didn't recover from, but they were just called shell shocked. But now we know what that is more and like and
I guess it wasn't.
But at the
Vietnam,
time, it was just like,
first.
like they're fucked up from fucking all the bombs, But it wasn't like as empathetic.
The one that I was just thinking when you were saying that was nurses during COVID and like what they went through is so wild. Like, how they call on the airplane, they're like, okay, any veteran, they can come sit on the plane first. Like nurses should have that now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
like
rough.
I'm just thinking the nurses' rights should be just now that we see and like it's always like we love our workers, like that whole thing happened this last couple of years.
What was the fucking? It was like some first responders.
It
was like everybody wanted to give a discount for first responders. That was like
and it's like now what?
That was
what
the
do we
thing.
do?
Yeah.
Can we give them all like 10 sessions of therapy? Like what do we do?
So
like,
much more useful.
Yeah.
So true.
And like even I'm just trying to think of like the empathy of our society. Of course, we do have some times where we're completely unempathetic and we're like doxing someone and like saying like let's destroy their life, you know. But also even like Justin Bieber, I feel like 10 years ago, and maybe this, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. 10 years ago, it felt like a lot of people were like, fuck Justin Bieber. But now everyone's kind of like, oh my gosh, like imagine being this guy. Like
Totally agree.
And like people feel like that about Billie Eilish or Harry Styles or these or big rappers or
Britney
even
Spears.
like Britney Spears or like Tekashi 6ix9ine even. Like you kind of, at least it feels this way. Like we sort of are more looking at celebrities as like, imagine being this person, like these poor people.
Yeah,
in a
we're
way.
like trying to stop treating them like zoo animals. We're not there yet, but we're like getting closer.
I think so.
Stars.
I think we are getting closer.
Wait, and I just want to say, I'm sorry. That comment earlier felt rude coming out of my mouth when I was like, oh, he doesn't read the news.
I don't.
But
you didn't say it like that.
in my head, it sounded like a little aggressive. So sorry about that.
I appreciate your apology, but
I am surprised that you've not seen anything about it, though. I do stand with that sentiment, but I apologize for how it came out.
This apology is not an apology.
Okay,
Christine, now to make up for it, you have to say what news you read from, because mine's Daily Mail. So it's like,
that seems good. I mean, I bounce around a lot. I see like a lot of liberal stuff. CNN, Vice,
and these are
New York
notifications
Times,
you get,
Washington
or you
Post.
open it up to like, let's see what's going on in the news.
I open the news on a almost daily basis, which is why I was circling back to this, because I'm curious about your opinions. Like, you know, I feel like lately the news is like it's not to use another expression, but it's like that train wreck I can't stop watching. Like, I know it's not necessarily good for me, but I still feel a weird obligation or desire to like tune in.
I have none of that in me.
Interesting. Because Paul just you don't possess the same like desire to just tap into that. So it's curious. You don't.
I could give up CNN the rest of my life. It sounds so bad.
Or like NPR or.
I mean, I love NPR, but it's just when I'm in my car. I'm not, even when I'm podcasting, that's not what I'm listening to anymore.
Well, it's like,
it's
NPR's more junk for me too. You know, it's like Nat Geo and Vogue and Architectural Digest. Like I look at all of this stuff. I don't know. I just filter through it all.
What is it that you're looking for? Do you get a rush out of seeing the destruction, you know, and like the sadness? Does it?
Oh no, not the sadness.
Well, like the train wreck. I mean, you know what I mean. Like what is it that you get out of it? You think?
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
You feel like you're caught up and you can know what's going on, so you know, and you're not behind.
Feel informed, prepared, a little more prepared for something somehow. I don't know.
Does it feel like you're helping by knowing? Or it's like you want to help, so at the very least, you'll know what's going on?
Yeah, I guess part of it's like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I've always had like somewhat of an interest in that kind of stuff too. You know, in college, I was in like a student advocacy club and was the president and like liked student government and liked politics really. And then, you know, realized that was a dark, horrible place. but I don't know, like, you know, I think we were in the same issues class in high school, right? And I just remember that class as like being...
You loved that, yeah.
I loved that class. Like the idea of like, okay, it was Grady, my soccer coach, right? He was my teacher, my coach, and he would have these like issues, right? It's all about the issues. So and he basically would set the class against each other essentially, and half the class would have to defend one argument and half would have to defend another. And
I like it.
I don't know. I always felt like it was a cool thing to like know enough about the issue to have a well-informed opinion.
Yes, I agree with that.
I liked that. I don't like feeling ill-prepared to have like, I don't know.
So for you, watching the news is like, I'm going to know what's going on. So when if someone asks me how I feel about Palestine, Israel, I'll have an actual answer.
I think I feel more involved, and in some small way, like more responsible or like in control of how it shakes out when I'm paying attention to it. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's safer. You have your eye on it.
Yeah, it's like I'm watching it.
So you're
it's
like
I'm
a little
keeping my
more-
I don't know, keeping my enemies close. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that's you and 95% of the people in our country. Like but you're not like the random. I feel like every single person I know has that same thing. For me, it just is like too much. Like, and I also feel like it's like propaganda at times, and I'm just like, if I'm watching these two things, like I'm really not getting a perspective that I want, anyways.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. I mean, we've talked about this a lot though too, and it's like I do think that I'm not immune to the fact that when I read these headlines, like sometimes they're so heavy and so horrible, like it does put you in a bad mood. And like Paul is kind of wise enough to know that he's too sensitive to like really seek that out as like a good thing, right? Like he's like, nope, not for me, not doing it. Whereas I know it's a little bad, but like keep going back for it. And
That's how I am with Bravo.
we all have our vices, I guess.
Yeah, no
Of course,
judgment. I watch Bravo.
news is a vice,
Yeah.
and we do all
Of
have our
course.
vices. But yeah, for me, it's like if my friend is going through something, like I want to know what's going on. But like, there's terrible shit happening everywhere all the time, and like you can know about all of it or not. It's things you can't change, you can't affect. Like, so me walking around with
I guess
anxiety,
I don't believe
though,
that though.
well, but just learning about it doesn't change it or affect it.
Right.
Like me hearing that, like I would feel it's terrible if let's say people are starving in, pick a country, I don't know, Nigeria.
But that's not what the news is. Let's get real. It's more so like that Nancy Pelosi doesn't want masks or wants masks. Like
Right.
it's not.
Sure. Well, yeah, that shit.
Flies on them anymore.
Political news, I could care less about because I think it's completely propaganda, and it's all. It's like, oh, you're just trying to, like tweak, like play with my instincts.
Last night there was an interesting moment. I showed Paul a headline, and it was like totally sensationalized. He was right. But the way I read it, I didn't recognize that or think anything of it. All I thought was like, I saw a trend. They were showing the trend. And the situation was like, 4th police officer dies by suicide that was involved in the riots in Washington in January. And Paul was like, oh, like that's suspicious or something. Like it raised like suspicion in him. Which I thought was interesting because to me, it was like validating.
Like they feel bad.
I was like, oh, yeah, Washington, like the riots were horrible. And now all these people who had to be involved are still fucked up with it. And these are the consequences of the behavior from that day. Like to me, it was validating my beliefs around that event.
And it validated my beliefs that like you can't trust the government or politicians.
It's very interesting. Like.
The research would begin by having Paul read the news every single day for like 2 weeks. And every day he has to like keep track of his stress level or like belief about a certain question. And then like this is like how you condition.
But it's hard too. Like you said, what news? Like what news am I going to watch? Like, am I watching CNN every day? Because then I am going to have some opinion. I'm going to think that Donald Trump is trying to take over the whole country, and they want to like all this other things. If I watch Fox News,
everything.
If I just soaked it all up, I don't know.
I even like watching Fox News from time to time to see what's going on.
For me,
essentially, all you have to do is go home for like 2 weeks because I'm sure our parents' generation, that's all they watch anyways all day.
Right.
It's like so anyone has to just go home and then they'll watch the news for a week.
Yeah. Then you'll live in the news.
For me, I just I call my little brother and he doesn't like when we talk about him, so I won't say much, but like he seeks out the other opinion, like purposely. He's like, I want to know, like, I'll take that one, cool. Now, like,
I have to know
the people
the
who
counter.
disagree with me, what are they saying? And then I call him and I say, Israel, Palestine, like, what's going on? And he just says, okay, these people are saying this, these people are saying this. Here's how I feel, and that's that. And like that's my news source. But like I have to really care about something to call him and ask him what's going on.
We don't have to talk about it. I was just saying, like, that is that his moment to shine? Is he just like?
No, it's an eye roll for him. He's like, oh my god,
no,
dude.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it fulfills him in a way because he's like me. He has a part of him that enjoys being in the know for whatever reason.
Okay,
you know?
it probably
he wants
does
to
in
know.
some way.
So the fact that
But
you
he
would
wishes-
Oh,
turn
you
to
guys are
him-
both the babies of 3.
Yeah,
not.
it's like we got something to prove. No,
he
you
is.
said it again.
I'll mute his name. It's okay. But he doesn't. He's not like I think he's disappointed that I have to ask. I think he wishes I would do my own research and know the answer, and then we
He's
could
gonna
maybe
literally
talk about
see
it.
Well,
this.
that's like the same as like if you apologize to somebody and then they're like, well, do you know what you're sorry for? Like, you better know, otherwise you're not going to be forgiven. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, you don't even know what you're apologizing for.
Your brother's gonna be like, wait, the Simone Biles thing is gonna be like so upsetting for him.
I don't know what he knows about Simone Biles. He's not like a gossip.
Can we like call
News
He
him?
guy.
and just
knows.
see
It's
if he
been
can-
major news.
Can we practice what you're saying and just like call and just,
He'd be so mad if we trapped him.
I would say, hey, all right. I would say, hey, I just heard about this Simone Biles thing. You know about that?
What do you know about
And
that?
he'd be
You
like,
ever heard her?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I
don't care.
wish we could get him on here, but
But
he
he
wouldn't be
doesn't
down.
care about that. Like sports drama, who cares?
See, that's like my brand. That's I love that.
Sure.
No, I don't know pop culture in general. I'm still stuck on, but
Well, I get
anyways,
fascinated with pop culture,
Yeah, you have a good,
but I
especially
do
music.
deflect something that I think is purposefully toxic and purposely like trying to get at me. If you're
That's
trying to like
smart.
play with me, I have a pretty good filter to see it and reject it.
That's fair. That's
Even
very
if
fair.
it's a commercial, and they're like, or like,
yeah.
He mutes commercials. He's
or
like,
like,
no deal.
so our governor is a liberal, Gavin Newsom, and he like made a lot of mistakes during the shutdowns and stuff, and people are trying to get him get him recalled.
Oh.
And so,
Well,
but now he's calling this the Republican recall, and we should stop the Republican recall. But
That's a
really,
nice
and then there's also commercials on TV now where it's like, they don't just say California's COVID plan, they say Gavin Newsom's COVID plan. And and it's like, and to me, I'm seeing, you're playing with me. You're trying to make me have a certain opinion. And like, now I don't trust you,
yeah.
The
Now I'm
second
not going to play it all.
propaganda happens, you're like, you see it, you smell it, and you run.
Right. But which is a bummer, because maybe this is bad people who are Republican who are trying to use this to take over California. Let's just, like maybe he shouldn't be recalled. Maybe he is the better choice. But now because you're trying to play with me, I'm done.
I'm the
I don't
Same
think he should be
way.
recalled.
I
though,
felt this
for
way
that.
about Andrew Yang. You know about Andrew Yang, who was like ran for president?
Oh, in New York?
Now he's running for, I think, mayor of New York.
Yeah.
But he ran for president shortly. He dropped out pretty quick.
I don't
But
remember that.
But he's like a really practical guy. Like he's like not a politician. He's like, let's just look at he's like, I want to help America get to the future. Like automated jobs are coming, like most people are going to be out of work. Like we need some sort of universal income. We need something to compensate. But then, and I was like, this is great. This makes sense. But then he's like, used some kind of fear tactic where he's like, there's 400,000 truck drivers in America, and like when those people don't have jobs, like how you think they're going to behave, and like maybe they're going to commit violence. And like as soon as he said that, and it was something to that extent, like, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, no, I'm like you're trying to use my fear to vote for you.
And there's where the
like,
shithole of politics.
You blew it.
Sets back
You just
in.
blew it. And I liked him until that. And so maybe my
But
point
also,
is
he's just
maybe I'm
playing
wrong
the
for being
game.
this like, as soon as if you're trying to sell me something, I'm not buying it, but maybe that's a bad attitude. That's all.
No, it's not a bad attitude. I think.
I was at an oils party. You know how people sell oils?
Oh yeah, essential oils.
Well, it's
yeah,
like a Tupperware party of the
Yeah.
new age.
been there. For sure.
Okay, yes, exactly. So, and this girl of oils, and I said, "Oh, I don't know, that's a lot." Can you hear me? Because it's frozen.
Yeah. You said there was a girl there with a lot of oils trying to sell you oils.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm good because she started pushing.
Okay.
The second she started pushing, it was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then she was like, so you don't care? You say you don't care about your health? Because before you were saying you're a therapist. So, and she was like getting at me, like, but you just said you cared about your health. You don't care. And I was like, oh, it's done. The second she did that, I looked at my friend. I was like, I'm done.
Wow. Yeah. It's on now. Like those are fighting words.
Good for her. She's doing a good job.
She's
selling.
aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
but
is
for
she?
me, I'm like, nope.
Well, but she sort of showed her cards, or like, you know, a wolf in sheep's clothing, but she lifted it up and was like, I'm a wolf and I'm trying to get you, you know,
much.
like then
But
it's like
for someone else, they would have broken and been like, I do care about my health, and like gone, you know.
Absolutely. But even a better salesperson would have been like, look, I get it. You're not I'm not, like, you're rejecting my sales pitch. I'm sorry. And I respect you. And then maybe 10 minutes later, you'd be like, okay, look, I want that one. I like the one. You know, like a better salesperson would have been able to like undersell, or what, I don't know what the term is.
Detachment is the term, I think.
Detach.
You don't want to be so
who
aggressively
knows?
invested in a sale that you scare customers away.
Yes.
So
I
it's
was
her
just
fault.
like, whoa.
Yeah,
I thought it was just like
too
fun
much
games.
Yeah.
I thought this was just like, you're going to give me some snacks and charcuterie.
Yeah.
Right. I just came here to like wash my hands in salt, and that's all I want. Like at the mall, you know, there's a kiosk where it's like, you want to wash your hands in salt? It's like, yeah, dude.
We
and it's like, oh my God, it feels
making
amazing.
Oils, and I was going to
cool.
pay for, and then it was like, all of a sudden it was like, you don't care about the world around you.
Yeah, like, so you want babies to die?
Yeah. It's like, oh,
You don't care about babies anymore? Yeah. What? Unborn fetuses? You don't think they have heartbeats?
They're like saying it louder so everyone hears.
Okay, so earlier you asked, when I think of Jilly, don't you think of? And really all I could come to mind was just like, silly Jilly.
Yeah.
Jilly's so silly. We've had so many funny, silly times together.
The most. We were
starting Miss Gooberman's third grade class. That's when it started for us.
Did you guys become friends that year? Like you would go to each other's houses and hang out?
Like fourth. So we were in the same class the next year.
Yep.
And I remember like playing with you more that year than the year before. And then by middle school, I feel like it was like pretty official.
But like in elementary school, at least in like third grade and stuff, I feel like you just hung out with like your neighbors or like your parents' friends' kids. And then
me?
And then
everybody.
Me.
Oh, I see. I was gonna say
like
that was not
people
true
in your hood, or like people who are bike distance or rollerblade distance, but then for sure inseparable in 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Like
we were looking
let's go to the mall era.
Oh yeah.
And
Big
then
time.
obviously through high school, pretty glued at the hip there. But yeah, you were talking about all the photos.
Yeah. We went through these photos with like a group of our friends a few weeks ago, and it was like I just had a box of pictures from when we were growing up, just every age, and Christina and I, every picture like on top of each other. And
you guys are like about to make out.
We're finding
and
ourselves
Christine was
together.
Specifically about to make out with you.
And
you know,
in like every stage of our life, it wasn't just like a few pictures and we're making a joke. Like every single one.
It's like there's another one. Like, well, that's a kiss about to happen.
A lot of big moments were
just like
wrapped
always
up
together.
Yeah.
In every school dance picture, we're like next to each other because we're the tall girls. And like in every picture, it's always just like I'm there and then you're there.
Oh yeah, and like all those pictures are so funny too because you'll see me and I'm just like physically leaning into Jillian the whole time. Like in every one, it's just like I should be like holding hands with my date, but instead it's like Jillian.
Yeah, it's like
all right, well this is I mean those are like very formative years, right? We're talking like 14, 15, 16. What do you think it was about each other
safety
that you needed in each
we were
other?
super safe to be ourselves around each other, I think.
Totally. And like you kind of just fake it, like even with school specifically, like the people are
Hold on, Jill. Take that back.
Hold that thought. Bop. Okay, try again.
Safety.
Hi, I'm back. Let me just. I essentially think like Christine was my safety, my best friend, and like a school dance, like a date, or like hanging out with a group of friends that you're not used to. Like that's not safe.
That's vulnerable. Yeah.
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 So the safety was that you'd known each other for so long.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
could, like,
were.
But you're also
feel
not
each other.
judgmental of each other miraculously
I
in
think
this era.
it was like
never.
human
girls.
safety blanket, right? Like we were trying new things all the time. We're, you know,
But
going to
also, I
music
could look
festivals,
at
going to
you and
concerts.
you'd know.
Yeah.
I would look at you and you would just know, like, what's up. Like, let's leave. It's time to leave. It's time to stay. I remember there's one story where you said I looked at you and just unbuckled your seatbelt and shoved you out the.
Oh, me
Christine,
or her?
No, she looked at me and she's like,
Oh,
"We're in the
actually,
car."
I've done that to both
You
of you.
did that to me too.
I did that
too
to both
embarrassing.
you.
It was in your
Jillian.
car. It was in your car, I think on New Year's. And you were like, you're about to puke. Get out.
But I think I like pushed and you went against the tree.
Yeah, in Erica's front yard.
Don't
Sorry,
love
Linda.
that.
Yeah.
Don't love that.
I guess that's another thing I can do. But Christine, like specifically, I just feel like I guess that you're my first relationship, we could really say.
Yeah. There was a lot of like good communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then we all went to the 10,000 Lakes Festival the summer after senior
God, that
year.
was so
And
freaking
honestly,
fun.
for me, that was when I felt like I bonded with you, Jillian. Like we had always known each other. Since we were little baby children, but like
Totally agree.
I felt like that trip was like we connected.
We're friends.
And like you were my bro. You know, like there was something about that trip,
Definitely.
kind of like what you're saying. Where like I would just look at you and like we were thinking the same thing. You know, like some
Well,
weird
we
guy is
understood.
talking to us and doing this, and I could just
Yeah.
look at you and be like, yeah, like we're on the same page. You know.
I think I completely agree. I think I've known you since you were so young that I was like my moment of like, oh, you're an adult, or like not an adult. We were 18, but like we're like teenagers and we're friends, and this is what you're like as a teenager.
That's
Like
cool.
you're not a kid. I was picturing you as like a little boy always,
Mm.
and then it was like, no, we're bros. Yeah, exactly. Just like that is my first memory of us being like so close.
Mm-hmm.
That was so funny. We were like, Jillian and I were essentially groupies together, following around Kinetics like all
Yeah.
the time.
I know.
Everywhere.
And that was like our whole MO. We just wanted to be like Kinetics groupies, not like in the traditional sense of the word, but like, because we were like, you know, the kids' sisters' friends, you know,
Right.
it was pretty
Speak for
harmless.
yourself, girl.
Okay, sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
No, but it was so fun. That show, that concert, that whole weekend was awesome. I think that was the first time I ever took a bath in a lake.
Beautiful.
Oh,
That felt cool. And that was like the beginning of my outdoor adventuredom, I would say. That was the first time I think I ever camped.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, my dad like is not a camper. I never went camping my entire life till that trip.
I mean,
I was thinking, who made the food? How did we eat there?
We had like so many snacks, but Nikki's
Blumenfelds were
parents, the
there.
Blumenfelds
Yeah.
were there, and we would go there at least for breakfast.
they would
We
make these
get like,
bomb risottos. Like the crock pot was always
Yeah.
popping
but then
off.
we just had money, and we would go to like eat
Corn
at the
dog it?
yeah,
Just
like eat
vendors
the
and stuff,
concert food.
But I just don't even, maybe like bagels. I don't remember like eating there, and I don't know if I was capable
I
at that
just
time.
remember,
Because I'm
like,
eating
chips.
3 meals a day. Like I'm gonna,
No, chips were involved because I only know because of the one picture of me in the background with like a bag of chips, and I'm just sitting there
a lot of chips.
snarfing.
Oh, there's
And
Doritos
like,
for sure.
There's like you're passed out like on a air mattress,
I've
and
seen
then
the
like
photo,
somebody
yeah.
else is passed out, and I'm just like eating chips. And that was the other thing, Jillian and I would like. It's like so basic, but like contacts. Like we always had shit to do together. Like Jillian and I just always had something we had to be doing. We
So
always had
funny.
missions. Like we were just on ladies with missions, shit to do.
Or like even just like get me when you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because it's like all these things. It's a thing.
Yeah, at a music festival, going to the bathroom is like a freaking 2-hour event. You know, you want a partner
Yeah,
for that.
For sure.
Yeah. It's no joke. Like, women really do go to the bathroom together.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Yeah, I mean, looking back, that was an important weekend in my life. And I only got to go because Erica either was grounded or just couldn't go.
You shared a bed.
Yeah, I got closer with you on that trip, obviously. And we stayed up picking glow paint off of your arm.
Yeah, I remember.
But even just
stand the thought of it being on there anymore.
Feeling like peers with you guys. Because there was an era in high school where you two are like hanging out with older boys, you know? And so I did just feel like a little kid, you know, like a boy. And then I felt like that trip, I felt like I finally was just, we were like on a level. And it's not like I made it to your level. It's like now we're on the same level.
No, I agree.
Like,
I thought the same thing. That's essentially what I was saying. Like you were always like, because I was in my childhood, like kid friend, but we never were like not kid friends. So I probably viewed you the same way. Maybe I put you in that box.
Yeah. Anyway, it was very important. And I got closer with Parker on that trip.
That trip, Parker was a...
Fell in love with Parker.
I feel like I
trip.
fell in love with Parker on that trip too.
I
never loved him more than that trip.
Yeah.
What a little like light of a human. He was just like bopping around the whole time.
And our night wandering around the campsite, like talking to weird people, like on an adventure, like.
But everyone just being cool.
I know,
like,
there was didn't look
cool.
at any other group and be like, oh, I wish I was part of that group. Like, there was no cooler, better group to be a part of than us.
It was like
going around.
the Breakfast Club. Like,
I know,
we were a random group, and it was just like, it was everything that we created our future for. Like, those are all our best friends now.
Yeah. And like, and it's weird too, right? Because we were friends. We've been friends forever.
It was just next level.
It's just kind of these little moments, these little experiences just turn it up a notch.
I feel like
it's
the quality time, right? It's like the back-to-back quality hangouts. Your phone doesn't work. You're all experiencing something that's new and exciting.
Shared experience.
The shared experience.
Well, it's the music too, because that was then forever the shared experience of like we went to like
Flaming Lips,
other concerts after that forever, and festivals, and I think music is what brought us together. I mean, at least that's what I feel like it brought me together. I mean, it was a music festival, so it is what brought us together.
Sure.
I think you're right, though. Honestly, chasing Kinetics around, that was like what got us out into like clubs for the first time. It was like, oh, we're going to go see Kinetics. You know, it wasn't that we really wanted to go to the bar. We just wanted to go to that concert, you know.
Exactly.
And for you, Jilly, I feel like we all kind of refound common ground, like in your love for the Beatles and like Eric Clapton. Like you had this like love affair. When did that come up? Like, when did you discover the Beatles?
She was born with it.
The Beatles, I feel like I have a memory of me driving to University of Montana because I went there in high school for a semester. And then where like Strawberry Fields came on and I was like, whoa. I thought Beatles was always just like what my parents listened to, you know, like Let It Be and like Hey Jude. I didn't know it was magical. And that's really when that all began. And then Parker helped me with like George specifically, and then came Clapton, and like that whole era when I lived with Parker was when that all happened, and then I just was like sold and in hard.
You were always a Grateful Dead head too. You always loved like you love the hippie jam bands, the Fish, all of it. Not so much Fish, but
yeah, I mean, I do. I loved everything. I loved Dave. When it was time to love each thing, I loved
Dave Matthews.
Hard.
How many Dave Matthews Band concerts have we been to together, do you think?
A lot.
A bunch.
I would say probably at least 5.
Yeah. I mean, 5 doesn't sound like that much.
Doesn't sound like that many, but considering
but a Dave
the fact
concert is an event.
I've only been to like 15 concerts, so 5 actually is a lot.
Right. Did you see the Rick Rubin, Paul McCartney thing on Hulu?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we watched it.
Oh my God. How cool was that?
So cool. Like I could like die when they were like pulling apart the music, you know, when they were just like on the board or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
That was my favorite part of just like you could hear each thing separately.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Track.
I loved it. I watched it with Nico, who's our producer from Argentina. So it was really cool to get to watch it with him.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's a huge Beatles and Paul McCartney fan, as well as Rick Rubin. But
what a fun guy.
mostly what blew our minds was just the unpreparedness of what the Beatles did. Because the Beatles they'd write a song, but just like either on the piano or on the guitar, that's the song. Then they'd go to the studio, and like at that time, studio time was very expensive. So it's like, today we're going to do 6 songs. We have 8 hours to record 6 songs, you know? So like each song, they get like an hour or an hour and a half. And like Paul McCartney, especially his bass lines are iconic. I mean, like if you listen to a Beatles song, the bass is like what the song is. It's like it's just some and the fact that he was like, did you like think about this bass line before?
Right,
did you?
right.
And he's like, no, I just kind of played it. I just kind of did it. And it's like, what? Like,
he knows it's crazy too. He's like, I know, crazy, right?
yeah. I mean, but it's just like.
But they're also so young. There was like, it's almost like when you're young and you don't care about roller coasters, and you go back as an adult, and you're like, oh my God, this is a little scary.
Like, you can literally see those screws popping out.
Right. But also the faith they had in themselves, to show up. I mean, like for Paul McCartney to play some of those bass lines, they're ballsy bass lines, because a bass player can just kind of sit back and like not make a mistake and just play the bass.
Yeah, but
he
like
was
true
like,
musicians,
I'm out here bassing.
It's like you are truly a musician. You don't walk by an instrument and not pick it up. Do you know how many instruments I've walked by? A zillion. I never am like, oh, I better
true.
I never am like, oh, I better pick it up and see if I can figure it out. That's not even the way my brain even looks at an instrument. He's that guy that's not going to just walk by a chance to experiment on an instrument. So why? Of course he's not going to be boring. He's brilliant.
Yeah. No, it's I agree. And thank you. Mm-hmm. And I always knew Paul McCartney was brilliant, but I didn't know how spontaneously brilliant he was. I kind of always assumed things had been written out a little more, or at least pre-rehearsed. Like it's not like the band got together and was like jamming the song for a few months and then let's record it. Like he wrote it on guitar, then he showed up, he showed it to the guys. Ringo did his thing, John and George did their thing, and like it all just kind of happened right there. And they just had the faith, which is very important in music. And that is how I make music. That's just like, I just believe something will happen, But I'm not the Beatles, like that they had that fearlessness and ended up with the Beatles.
Right.
Is crazy. So anyway, that was my big takeaway. It was just. It's
sick. It's also cool to watch like Rick Rubin like shocked and surprised when he's hearing all of it, and like a little kid in a way of like, he's like, really? And then, it hypes it up so you feel excited by it too.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Rick Rubin grew up loving the Beatles. Like I can only imagine what those days or that day, I don't know how long it took them to film it, but what that was like for him, like to do that. That must be a trip. But also he's Rick Rubin. He's done a lot.
Who is? Sorry, the internet's like a little unstable. Can you see me?
Yeah. We see you. We hear you. You're
but
great.
Agreed. We are getting spotty every once in a while.
Who is like that person for you guys? Like
Karen O.
Oh.
It's easy. There's nobody else even like on the same caliber of like idleness to me.
And I can't think of one, honestly.
For me, Questlove. Like, because I've studied him and like as a drummer, as a producer, like he's someone I've really like, like I'm a student of of his catalog of work. So that would probably be the biggest, like, I can't believe I'm sitting here asking you this stuff, would probably be Questlove.
So no one comes to mind, Jill, huh? At least not like contemporary.
I mean, what about like Bob Dylan, or like...
For me, I feel like the female connection helps. Like to me, Karen O is who she is because she was a she that like carved a path out to me that I hadn't ever seen before.
Yes.
And like she's sort of
She
like
embodies this confidence that you learn from her, and like
right, and like
Fearless, again.
a tenacity, and like all these things that I admire in her. Yeah. So I don't know. For me,
I can't think of
makes
one
sense
though.
that it's her.
Yeah.
Who was
I
your
think-
idol growing up? Joe?
Shania Twain. You were a Shania Twain fan for a while.
Yeah, we're like
I'm
Britney.
trying to think.
I mean, you met the
who did
cardboard.
you were a Britney Spears fan? You were.
I had a Christina poster growing up.
Yeah, Christina was big for a while.
I don't know. That's maybe Paul McCartney, because that could be a good one. Maybe like Dead or Alive would be George, because the spirituality is just so interesting to me.
If you could have like
Could
somebody,
it be George?
could be George.
It can be George.
Sure.
But okay, let's say, and we should all play this game. You're hosting a dinner.
I
Three
wanted to play
people
this game.
are coming to your house for dinner. And it could be anyone you want. It could be, they'd have to be alive,
Okay.
but I mean, the invitation will be accepted and they will show up. Who are you inviting?
Christine.
Yeah, I don't
Okay, so
necessarily
I was
have an answer
thinking
either.
Karen O.
Okay.
Why don't we each get to bring someone? They all have to like get along, and it all has to
we
be.
each get to bring a
Ooh,
guest
ooh, ooh,
to
ooh.
dinner. So it'll be the
Yeah.
three of us and our three
Okay,
guests.
well, I think I'm gonna just do us all a favor and get some comedy out there and just bring Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
Great one.
That's so good.
I've been
Thank
blown
you.
away by his character lately. Like, he lives in
Ohio.
Yellow Springs, Ohio, which is the town. My dad was born in Springfield, Ohio, but like it's right next to Yellow Springs. And I don't know, I just love like his love of community and like the values he has, I feel like are very sweet and endearing. And I don't know, he's just really
I
like,
can't wait to meet him at the dinner.
I know.
Honestly, that's such a
Get
good
ready,
I love
prepare.
that you're bringing Dave Chappelle.
yeah, it's going to be funny.
and
but
now that's going to affect kind of who I
Yeah.
bring because it's like, okay.
Totally. Like you
Chappelle
can't bring
would be there.
Bezos anymore.
No, Bezos
no,
is
he's out.
I mean, Questlove
don't worry,
still works.
I've read the news. I'll be like, Bezos, do you even understand what they're saying? You're polling terribly.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Put him next to Christine. She reads the news.
yeah. You two could talk about the news
I'll
together.
tell him how off-putting that cowboy hat was.
I did see the cowboy hat. That made it. To
I
me.
missed the cowboy hat. So
Yeah, that's all I saw because I would just scroll through like Instagram for anything.
I read the titles.
But-
I didn't mention the hat.
I got one actually.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
That's our girl.
As you guys know, I'm obsessed with podcasts, and like I'm really into like the Tom Segura, Whitney Cummings,
yes.
Bert Kreischer. I just like love it. Like
Okay.
Tiger Belly, all that stuff. So maybe one of them, and I would say maybe if it was Chappelle though, that actually ruins it. I take that back because like Whitney would then like, take over.
I was gonna say Whitney's also gonna like make moves on my man, so proceed with caution.
Maybe we'll do a threesome
man?
though with Whitney Cummings.
This guy.
She flirted on
Oh.
me. She flirted with me.
Oh yeah, I forgot you met her.
But so I don't think
I'm
I
I'm
don't know if
totally
it was a real
teasing,
flirt.
but she for sure flirted with him.
Christine's like, but her name's on the list now, and if I see her, she's dead.
She's dead to me. No, I still really love her.
Yeah, she's good and like hotter in person. I must say, honestly. Anyway,
I think she's very pretty, so that does not surprise me.
anyway.
Whoa, let's keep moving, shall we?
So wait, so you would have said Whitney, but you don't think her and Chappelle are a good match? Why
She'll
not?
be so loud.
she'll
So maybe
overshadow
She is.
Chappelle.
A show.
I want to say someone who's like a great, right? Like I want to say Michelle Obama, but I also want to say Tom Segura.
Tommy Segugu, bring him.
It's so dumb.
But
No, it's
but
not. It's not. It's
to have dinner
silly.
with Tom Segura and Dave Chappelle would be
silly,
I'm dying
really
to have
cool.
dinner with them. Yeah, seriously, that's
All right,
so
see this
fun.
now.
I mean, who do you
this
want to
affects-
have there? Like Neil deGrasse Tyson? You have to like
Neil
talk.
deGrasse Tyson.
Or what's his name?
Yeah, you remember that show, Neil deGrasse,
I'm
that
so
Drake was
bad.
on? Drake was on that show, Neil deGrasse.
so bad at names.
Wait, but
No, it's just
imagine
Neil
how we'd have to
deGrasse.
like prepare and get ready if I was like, okay, Michelle Obama,
Yeah.
and then it's like, imagine if it's
You'd
just
have to
Tom.
prep.
It's like,
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You just kind of just show up. So
Yeah.
now both these choices affect mine.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of thinking Bob Dylan would be so interesting to bring to this dinner.
Doesn't
But-
he have like?
and when it was just Chappelle, I'm like, all right, Bob Dylan still maybe works. But now we got Tommy Segugu in the mix.
I
So-
feel like Bob can't handle a family dinner, like a friend's dinner.
Yeah.
You're right. So,
Letterman could.
well, yeah. But listen,
Conan.
this is my choice, okay? You had your turn.
Right. Damn it, just one. Is there like a TikTok sound or the Jeopardy sound over there on your board?
I don't have the
Damn, that would be cool. The Jeopardy one.
Let's go.
crickets. Man, it's tough. It's super tough. I'm questioning, like, maybe I should bring a woman. You're bringing men. Maybe I should bring a woman. That at least limits my choices.
We were really looking to be the only women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Thanks for saying that so I didn't have to. BFF. No, I'm kidding.
There's enough women.
Man. I don't know. I mean, maybe still Questlove
That's a fun one.
because Tom Segura is like a hip hop head. Questlove, Chappelle.
I mean, that would be the most fun dinner ever.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. But I'm not sure about Questlove. I kind of want to say Letterman, but I resent that. It was your
Gaga.
idea, not mine. I don't know, man. I'm stumped on my own show. Stumped.
Don't
Well,
you
we
love
got 'em.
Conan? I remember that.
I do, but this isn't fair. But after Conan got the Tonight Show, I didn't like him anymore. I liked him when he was
That's
on,
fair.
when it was Late Night with Conan O'Brien. All right, maybe it's fair. But Late Night with Conan O'Brien was the best.
It was
The
good.
best. I mean, like obsessed. I would not miss an episode, and I kind of lived for it. Like everyone would go to bed, I TiVoed it, I would watch it. But then, yeah, once he got the Tonight Show,
It's interesting.
I think he did a bad job hosting the Tonight Show. He kind of went on like autopilot, where like maybe he felt like we can't do our weird things anymore, or it's also like it's not us against the world. Like now I'm the man. You know, it's like Obama becoming president.
There's
Like it
some
was like Obama
self-loathing
Right.
going
was
on.
like a man of the people, but then once you become president, now you're the man.
the man,
You know, and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, and it
a lot to
Obama
grapple.
handled it better than Conan. I think it made Conan behave differently in a way I didn't love, and like I still love Conan, and I like when he does like man on the street kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but as far as
they-
watching
that's the
his
Conan,
show,
that's
that's
exactly.
Conan, and I love
Yeah,
his podcast.
agreed.
When he got fired
That's
from the
where he
Tonight
thrives,
Show,
for sure.
when he got fired from the Tonight Show, I was like passionately believed that he needs to start his own website and do his own show like Tom Green was doing. At the time, Tom
Yeah.
Green was doing a show from his living room, a talk show. And that was my favorite thing. And I was like, if Conan did that, Conan, like I quit the Tonight Show, there's all this hype, and I can just put people on my website. I feel like he missed an
He
opportunity there.
essentially could have been Joe Rogan.
He could have been Joe Rogan, kind of, yeah. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
or at least a way more of a contender, you know.
Right.
But
I mean,
think
it's the
that's
call. It was
fair.
just overproduced. He probably, the producer ruined him of like putting him not as like funny in his regular clothes, but they like dyed his hair and put makeup on him and like,
overproduced,
Yeah,
overconfident. He left
over-censored.
New York, came to LA. There was just like too much
Change.
was different.
Yeah.
The show was not broken. He just got upgraded to a better time slot, but they totally changed the whole show, you know?
Yeah.
And the show was perfect.
Yeah.
So-
it's hard to replicate. I mean, there's so many variables, you know, of like the crew, the things that make a show,
Mm-hmm.
like make it really great are hard.
maybe we should bring Conan to the dinner.
No,
'cause,
no,
like,
no.
Oh,
I'm bringing Tiffany Haddish.
Yes, I love that.
That is going to be fucking
Another girl who
So
flirted
fun.
with
fun
him,
as
but
fuck. She
I'm
did not.
excited.
So
she did
fun.
flirt with you.
She just no. Steve introduces
Christine,
me
you
as
wish.
the gorgeous Paul Brisky, and nobody wants to say, I mean, he's all right. I don't know. People say, oh yeah, he's gorgeous. That's all she said, right?
Didn't she talk about your sexy voice, or was that Whitney?
Maybe Tiffany talked about my sexy.
I
voice.
think she
don't
talked
know.
about. She literally said the word "sexy" and described you in some capacity.
Yeah, I might have to look back at that. That
Might
sounds
want to
pretty
rewatch it. I don't know.
But
Christine, why don't you
bringing-
go check your notes?
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
bringing Tiffany Haddish.
She looked so good the other night when I saw her. She had like a little pixie cut on or something, and she was looking like fire. I don't know.
I wonder what she'll
cool.
wear to the dinner.
I wonder.
I
yeah.
know. What is she
Are we
what's her
dressing up or is
style?
this casual? You know, because I'm not a dresser upper,
She like
but
buzzed her
I can do it
hair.
if I have to.
She's been just. I feel like.
And she's dating Common.
Yeah, she seems to be like thriving. There's been a lot of like good energy coming out of that girl lately. She just seems to be doing
What
well.
if we told everyone they can bring a date?
They can bring a date.
And then
so
her
we are
and
bringing
Common,
them as a date, but they get a
Common's
plus one.
coming. So that changes.
So
Common.
yeah, Common, maybe
Who's
Pajitsky
Dave gonna bring,
will come
his
with
wife?
Tom.
Christina
Hopefully
P.
Dave brings Donnell Rawlins. You know Donnell?
Yes, of course.
Or who do you
I
hope
think
Dave
it's-
brings?
His wife.
I mean, his wife.
Oh,
Who's his wife?
his
I
wife.
don't know.
Yeah, who the fuck is she?
Apparently, Kelly met Mike Epps' wife today. Do you know Mike Epps? He's
You'd
a comedian.
recognize him. You'd recognize
You
him.
would recognize him. He's a pretty well-known comedian. But
Indiana guy.
yeah,
Where'd she meet him?
at like Williams gymnastics class. They had their they had their daughter in the class, and I guess the wife was like pregnant, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
Kelly befriended her and was like, I was gonna not participate because I'm so pregnant. Yeah.
It's for the crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you recognize.
Mike
yeah,
Epps. For
thank
anybody
you.
who's
Thank you so
rusty.
much. Such a good you're a producer.
I mean, faces, names, they're hard. Yeah. Good job.
What podcast are you most obsessed with right now?
To Live and Die in LA is like a murder situation about just it's the second
Ooh.
season, and they're both just like cases in LA that have gone
Let's
cold
skip
or
that
whatever, and
one.
then he reopens and figures shit out. That's a good one.
Wow.
And then I listened to Your Mom's House.
It's a good one unless you're walking around like Hollywood
Yeah.
Reservoir alone.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, unless you
And then
live in
you're
LA
just like,
and
oh,
you're
God damn
home
it.
alone
Yeah.
high.
A good one for anyone but you guys.
Yeah. I'll maybe pass. But okay, sorry. Keep going.
But your
I
mom's
listened
house.
to like I just shuffled between that whole group of comedians of like whatever they're on, or sometimes Rogan, sometimes Two Bears,
yeah, I kind of cycle through
sometimes
as well.
Tiger Belly.
But there's always one that I'm like, can't miss. I guess lately it's been Bad Friends,
Oh yeah.
and yeah. Anyway, I'm curious.
It's interesting that I am on a podcast because I don't listen to any of them really.
Right. Well, like
The-
our approach to a podcast, Christine was like, "Oh, this is different because it's like we're just talking." But me, every podcast I ever listen to that's what they do. It's just talking. You know, it's like. So Christine was like, "Oh, this is like
I'm like,
it's different."
I didn't
'Cause,
even know
like,
the concept.
Well, but a lot of podcasts are scripted,
Howard Stern
like these
is
murder
like-
I listen
mysteries.
to like
they come
My
in
Favorite
with
Murder. It's like a performance.
right, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there
not
is
an
kind of like
interview.
it's we didn't invent the genre, but we
No.
are fitting into a certain genre, sort of like shooting the shit kind of a podcast.
Well, I
We're just
I
not
just want to
famous-
do a little
famous
shout
comedians.
out to Lexi because the other day when you told me that Lexi was watching the episodes, that's Jillian's little sister, everybody. Anyways, shout out to Lexi. Thank you for watching. And
Hopefully, she watches this one.
I know
She better.
she obviously will. But I don't know. Your Jillian gave some praise our way, and it was very nice. It's always really cool to like have an idea of who's watching. Like I know there's people
Totally.
paying attention, a few people, but to like picture who it is kind of like I don't know, changes.
Well,
things
I
for
also
me.
think she was like so touched by it, and she was just saying like, Christine's so cool. Kind of like the idea of like when I found out Paul was cool and I was at the music festival, like I always knew it, but like I was like that moment of like, oh, he's like the best. I think Lexi was saying that she felt that from your podcast, and that's such a good compliment.
that's what I mean. Like that is like
Yeah.
a huge fucking cool
That's huge.
compliment, like super cool.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate you letting me know. And
Of course.
it's nice
Always, yeah.
to feel the love.
How have you liked
Well-
being? Oh, go ahead.
On the podcast,
Yeah, because you listen to a lot of podcasts. What?
I was just thinking that, and then I froze, but now I'm back. But like it's, I mean, I sit on camera and talk like this all day, every day.
sure.
This is my like job, so it feels so comfortable. Why am I not on a podcast? Like, there should
Seriously.
be-
We could do like
Why
a whole
don't you
segment.
have your own podcast?
Why don't we do a segment with
Yeah.
Jillian and it'll be like some like weekly
Couples
check-ins
therapy with Jillian.
Oh my god! I mean, literally call me Esther Perel, but like, I would love that. I don't know why I've ever thought of it. I'm so private.
Yeah.
I've always just been so scared of, like, I feel like the number one thing they teach you first week of school as a psychology major is like, hide everything, don't share anything. You're private. Like, you will be ruined if anyone can find you.
So interesting.
Do you think that's true?
Oop, I froze.
You froze. We hear you, but we can't see you moving. But do you think that's true?
Now I'm kind of like peeling back of like, I can be a human. It's okay. And like, that makes people feel better that I'm not a robot. And I wouldn't want to go to someone like perfect. I'm happy that there's not like viewpoints of me doing like things I wouldn't want people to know I did. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel it's interesting that you say that. I relate to that in the way that like I've always felt very guarded about how I present myself as well. I was actually trying to describe this to Paul earlier, and I made the comment of like, I've always felt like I've been living in a fish tank, and I could see your face that you didn't understand what I meant really. But yeah, there's a certain level of like anxiety and ways that I've grown up feeling different. And I thought,
or needing to keep up with being like the good, sweet girl, Christine. Like,
yeah,
where it's like,
right. Is that the pressure that like you're the cute girl, you're the hot girl, you're like that? Which I know you don't see yourself that way, but like at least in 4th grade, like you were the hot girl in
part
school.
Of it.
You know,
it's beyond that. It's like just general expectations of like who I need to be good, what I have to do to deserve love, like how I have to perform to pass as being good, kind of a thing. I don't know. It's like a general protectiveness that happens when you don't necessarily.
Well, that's what we're taught. That's like, exactly how I feel about being a therapist. It's like, to be a good therapist, it's like you hide everything. You aren't human. You aren't breathing. So then that's like, now I'm peeling back of like, wait, I'm a really good therapist. And so like all that shit doesn't matter. And like, you're like, I'm a really good person. I'm a really solid good person. None of that shit matters, because when you know you're good, it's enough. But like, we didn't know that until now.
And it gives you this way of like taking ownership of it and controlling it. You know what I mean? Like, you get to decide like what people see and what they don't, versus the way I maybe felt in the past, where I felt like, you know, how I was coming off wasn't how I wanted to come off, or how people were perceiving me wasn't fair or accurate or, you know, complete or whatever it was, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think
that's why I like the podcast.
I think I have a similar thing, but my defense mechanism is I control what you think. Like, I'm going to be so weird, you're going to have to think like I'll beat you
to the punchline.
Right. Like, I'll beat you to it. Exactly. Like, you know, like I was, when you told me that, I was like, yeah, like, I don't care what people think, but I also want them to know I don't care what I think. And that actually means I really do care what they think, you know? And like, so I think I just kind of, I would like, you know, in high school, I would like wear a hospital gown or drag my backpack on a leash or whatever, because like, I do care what you think of me, but like now I'm in control
or whatever,
of what you think
but
of me.
those things both happen.
Yeah, no, of course they did. But like,
yeah, my reaction was the opposite. It was like, how high can I jump? How high do I have to jump for you to accept that I'm doing it right? You know, it was like it was the opposite. It was the opposite.
But I guess like it's the same insecurity. Yeah. I'm just as insecure as you are.
No, it's the same insecurity of like this like acceptance thing, you know. It's what it really comes down to, I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
Are you worried your clients will watch this? Or do you not care? Do you hope they watch it?
I mean, I don't think I don't know. No.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. Way. It's like you haven't done anything wrong. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you? Where'd you go, Jilly?
It's a little splotchy, but we heard you say yeah and no.
But that's the thing. It just.
What I was. Oh wait, I'm back, and now you guys are back.
Beautiful.
My answer was, no, I don't care, because again, good that like, I know that.
Yeah, I
take
feel
it
the
back.
same way. It's like, you know, I had some anxiety earlier on, like in the podcast when I was still looking for a job, for example, and I was like, okay, well,
yeah.
it's a little crazy. Like, what if, you know, for whatever reason, you know, a company doesn't want to hire me because I vocalize my opinions politically, socially, whatever it is, I do this segment, you know, but at the same time, it's like, who even cares? It's not come up one time. And like, if it does, I'll deal with it then. But like, it's kind of the same with the clients. Like, I don't think it'll be a problem, but what have you done wrong? Nothing.
Can I invite Jordan in here?
Jordy,
Yeah, absolutely.
come on back.
Back on the Elk
we
Lodge
want him
for the
back.
second time,
We
ladies
need
and
him back.
gentlemen, Mr. Jordan
Jordan Lipschutz.
And a little boring. You needed something to spice it up.
Yeah, we need a little
A little
palate
bit of
cleanser
salt,
here, bud.
if you will. A little bit of salt
Well,
to season us up.
I've done this before, so I've done this before, so I could tell you a few things.
We're not adult roommates. He's just here visiting.
Mike, come on in here.
Mike, get in here.
Get the
Jordan,
game.
how did you feel
Get
after
Winnie
your
in here.
episode? Yeah, how did you feel after doing it?
Oh, not great. Most stressful thing in my life.
Ooh, not the answer I was looking for.
No, but it is. I mean, because
That's not like that's not a judgment on you guys. That's just where I was at the time, you know.
well, and
But I'm doing
also
That's fair.
after every podcast, we have this like little moment of like post podcast regret where it's like, I said that wrong. I wish I would have said that. I wish I would have explained myself better on that thing. Like there's always this like post podcast remorse.
Yes.
Yeah, you
I mean,
can play
for
it
me,
back.
for me, that was like we were talking about our fantasy bands, and I was just like, I fucked it up. And to be honest, you know, we're months later now, and I still don't have it. So don't ask me.
Okay, I won't.
We won't
I
give
won't.
you. I guess redemption's coming later.
Give me another year, and I'll get it for you.
We
Well,
will.
wait, we have one last question. We're having a family dinner. Christine's bringing Chappelle. Paul's bringing Questlove.
No, Tiffany Haddish.
Thank you.
Mm.
I'm bringing Tom Segura.
Who do you want, Jor?
Who you bringing?
Who's
you
your
get
plus
one
one?
guest.
Name drop, but I'm going to be hanging out with Tiffany next week.
What do you mean?
I got an event I'm doing in San Diego for work, and Tiffany's supposed to be speaking, but Delta variant, she might be out. We'll see.
Ooh.
Wow.
When is that? Let me
Yeah,
know the
when are you
details.
gonna be in San Diego?
I can say no more.
Well, okay. Text me privately when you're going to be in San Diego because there's a little tide pool action I want to go to that's close by. So maybe I'll time it so I can come see you.
August 6th through 12th.
Okay, bud.
Very soon.
But wait,
wow.
podcast-
That's like tomorrow. No?
No, tomorrow's the 3rd.
Can you guys bleep those dates out?
Yes.
Sure. You got it, bud.
Consider it.
He can do it.
Consider it done
I'll
if I
make him
remember.
do it.
No, I'll remember because I'll see this.
Like, come to
On podcasts, whenever they say, let's talk about it off the show, I get so jealous. I can't believe we just had that moment.
Right.
Yeah, like, oh,
We get to
shit.
do that now. Yeah, we'll talk about it off air. I'll tell
Oh,
you off air.
Question. I have another question. I'm glad I remembered. We got a beautiful package today,
Oh yeah.
but there was no name
I'll
from the
get it.
sender, and I don't know who it's from. And I'm wondering if any of you guys know something about this little gift.
Did I accidentally send more food for Dale there?
No more food for daily, unfortunately. But we got this amazing picture of the stars on the night that we got engaged.
Oh, it's totally Erica.
Oh,
I mean, that's Erica.
100%.
it has the freaking coordinates, the date, and yeah, it says the night we
that's
chose
great.
each other forever.
You guys didn't do this? We're like, who sent this?
Yeah,
we have no
we're-
idea.
Oh, I'm not that.
I
That's a
mean,
great gift.
the only
It's
reason
so
I
nice
say,
gift, right?
It made me cry when I opened it.
Ooh, there he is. The only reason I say Erica is because Alon had like the pictures of the stars, but otherwise I would say like Kelly or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening and wants to take credit for this beautiful gift,
Comment down below.
yeah, let us know.
Like, that wouldn't be Aaron. That's not like an Aaron thing, either.
It's more of a Kelly thing than an Aaron thing, I would think.
No, Aaron's more sentimental than Kelly.
But would Aaron send like
You're gonna want to bleep that out.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I mean,
Aaron's way better than Kelly.
no, I didn't say that. Erin
Wow.
is more like, I feel like, oh, I don't know.
Into that kind of shit.
She's into that
She
kind
would
of
do this.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Jordan, this
Yes.
dinner. Who's your plus one? And Mike, you're up next. We're all
you're in
we're
the
doing a
dugout,
dinner.
Mike.
You get to bring one person. She's bringing Dave Chappelle. I'm bringing Tiffany Haddish. Jilly is bringing Tom Segura.
It has to be comedians.
No,
And this-
it can be anyone. It just ended up that way.
We're a bunch of funny people, you know?
But we're all gonna have a dinner.
Is this a live or dead
We're just
situation?
loads of fun.
Alive. They have to be alive. No one will turn down the invitation, no matter what. But they have to be alive.
No women.
And no women, no Jews. That was a rule. Jillian made the rules.
See, this was my problem with the fantasy band thing. Is like the only people I like are all dead.
Well, Jordan, get with the times.
Hey,
Yeah, grow up. Get over it.
grow up. And also, like, my initial pick was going to be Bob Dylan. But then when she did
fine.
Chappelle, she did Segura, I was like, oh, I don't know about Bob Dylan.
Doja Cat. I don't know.
Okay.
Is that what the kids like?
Okay.
Don't do it for the kids, George. Do it for you.
Mike's is good, Mike.
I'm bringing Keith Richards for sure.
Keith Richards, fantastic
Interesting.
choice.
Yeah, that's spicy.
You know who that is?
So good.
Keith, now we got Keith in the mix.
I like that.
I mean, the most
I
fun
love
dinner
the
of my
lights on.
life.
Okay, I have another like tiebreaker question we could use your help on, guys. We've been debating around the house with Nico about who's better, Whitney Houston or Madonna.
Oh, I listened to this today. I was listening to the Nico episode.
Do you have
Thank
any
you for
thoughts?
listening.
By
Can
the way,
you?
one of my favorite episodes of the pod.
Thank
Aw,
you. Same.
Sweet. Wait, the one with the whole family or just the one with Nico?
Is Nico still there?
They're not home
They're
right now.
like
They're
at the beach right now, but they're still staying here.
Good choice. I support that choice.
Just want to call out that this is now the second question on the second podcast Jordan's been on where he can't answer.
Oh.
And whatever you say, Jory, you're going to regret it.
Those are fighting words, Jordy. Look
Say the
out.
question again. Sorry, Mike and I had a couple beers.
Okay. The question, what was my question?
Oh, Madonna or Whitney?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, so yeah, when you guys were talking about this, when we were on the boat in Minocqua, Daniel threw on a Madonna song. I forget which one it was, and I was like, "Fuck, this is
Good.
great."
Sure.
You know? Do you guys remember
I
that?
remember the
I
moment.
don't remember which one he
It was when some of you guys swam out to like go swing on that vine. or
Oh
that
yeah, I left. I tried to swing on the vine.
Madonna song that came on in the boat. And I was like, I know a couple Madonna hits and like I take them for what they're worth, but like it was funky, it was great. I want to get into Madonna more.
That's funny
Me
because
too.
when we were
But
Nico.
like Whitney holds the place in my heart right now.
Thank you, Jordy. I knew I could count on you. I could just feel it.
Yeah.
I went to the grocery store with
That
Nico
Madonna take it over.
You're just trying to, it's like, that's another point for Whitney. Good.
yesterday. I went to the grocery store with Nico. Oh my
That's
gosh.
that moment.
That's
That's
There's
when
the
we were
moment.
trying to get
That's
on
the
that
moment
freaking
when
swing.
Madonna was playing.
all trying to show Erica how to swing.
Oh my gosh.
Look, my skin is so pale that I'm like blowing out the shot. That was also when we were like, it was like, someone was like, can you tow me on the board? It's like, well, I won't tow you, but I'll tow fuck you. That moment just, I still think that sometimes. It makes me laugh.
It has come up again, hasn't it?
I won't tell you, but I'll fuck you. I don't know.
That was the worst weekend of my life.
Yeah, that was really fun.
It was an epic one, that's for sure.
But Jordan, we're gonna need this guest, so don't keep those
Don't
wheels
dilly
turning,
dally.
bud.
Also, at the grocery store yesterday, I thought I was listening to a Madonna song, and I was like, "Oh, 1 point for Madonna, Nico," and it turns out it was Cyndi Lauper.
Cindy's
I was like,
great.
"Damn it!" And he goes, "Oh, well, if it's her and Madonna, they definitely beat Whitney." And I was like, "No."
Yeah, well, I love how he was like Whitney, like Madonna for sure, like no question.
Oh, remind us though, because Paul and I covered the song. It was
Girls just want to have fun.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun. He wants to hear a cover.
Oh, okay,
We
cool.
gotta play for him.
That's a great song.
Yeah, we covered it, and Paul did a great job.
Thanks. It's not done, but we just kind of like took a night doing something with
It
it.
was silly.
I have my guest.
Okay.
Okay. So wait. So the doorbell rings. I was like, oh, hey, Jordan, who'd you bring? Who's this?
Well, I said it, so you're gonna have to bleep that out because now here's the reveal. All right, ready? Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
Oh,
Fantastic choice.
I'm a
Wow.
big fan.
Jeff Bridges. He's the one from
That's
Step
what I wanted
Brothers.
to be when I grow up.
Yeah, Christine doesn't know Jeff Bridges.
No.
From Big Lebowski. He is the Big Lebowski.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
And then Tron. And then Tron again.
I don't know those movies, but okay. Big Lebowski.
Well, there's two Jeff Bridges in Tron.
Yeah,
And
in
then-
Tron, he's in it twice. He's in it, and then he's also hypothetically in it somehow.
Who did I
It's,
think he was?
Oh,
Winnie, are you
Winnie?
okay, Win?
Winnie, more like whiny. Am I right?
Joey
Winnie.
doesn't know how to pick up her own dog.
Oh, it was just an awkward angle.
She's so cute, honestly. Winnie's a good dog.
Hey, Win.
I imagine Dale's not there.
Dale's not here.
Well,
He's hiding in the darkness.
oh, chicken.
Hey, Jor, how'd it go cooking at that Hexa event?
Wait, I still got the bracelet. You
I
guys-
noticed that earlier, and I have to say thank you,
Chicken.
bud. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've graduated to necklaces. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, Christine's got like chokers now.
I
Ooh.
keep making them. Listen to the way they sound. They're good.
That is a good sound.
I think so. What?
I'm invading a podcast.
No.
We love it. This is great. It's like we love to pop in.
This is
How
great.
was cooking for the Hexa event, Jor? This show is brought to you by Hexa Coffee. I don't know if you know that.
Yes. I do know that. It was good. It got rained out though.
Mm. What kind of? It was like a Danish hot
It
dog.
was like a
you guys were
midsummer
cooking.
event,
It
right?
was, the event was because Hex is the sort of like occult theme and Satanists. They did like a whole midsummer themed event. If you've seen that movie,
I love
Haven't
that.
seen it. Heard about it.
you haven't seen it. I don't think Christine would like it at all. I think you should really watch it though, Paul.
Okay.
Why won't I like it?
Too scared. You're too scared.
People's heads kind of explode, and there's just like there's some good gore in it.
You don't think I like
gore, right?
exploding heads?
I don't like scary movies particularly.
Yeah, are you kidding?
Well,
Paul is
I
like
like
the softest
No,
soul
I'm not
over here.
scared of them, but
I'm
I just don't
hard as
enjoy
a
them
fucking
that
rock.
much.
I won't watch those either.
This was cool though. This is a very cool movie. I highly recommend it.
Mm.
And if you can't take it, then just turn it off. You know. But A24 makes good stuff.
All
But
right.
it's basically the whole premise of the movie is like it's like a Swedish midsummer, and they're kind of like a cult family thing, and some hijinks ensue and all that. But basically, like for the event, like they have flowers everywhere because it's like midsummer, you know, the maypole,
Farm to
everything.
Table by Jacqueline Lash. Woo!
Yeah, exactly. Good shout out, Jacqueline Lash, our friend from high school.
She's
did
doing
some
a great job with those floral
gorgeous
arrangements.
flower arrangements.
They're
Wow.
It was
Let's get
beautiful.
Jacqueline on here.
They're honestly, she probably would.
Farm to neighbor.
Farm to Neighbor. Thank you. Farm to Fresh is a produce system. Good call.
Yes.
Farm to Neighbor. Check them out on Instagram. She's doing a great job.
So then I was in charge of the grill. I did these like Danish dogs. Parker came up with the recipe. It was foot long hot dog with like a remoulade kind of sauce, which is like mayonnaise mixed with relish and all sorts of fun stuff. And then
Ooh, I want
crispy
one.
onions and pickles on top.
Oh,
Yum. It's sort of like the animal style sauce from In-N-Out.
Yeah. Listen, mayonnaise on a hot dog, it works.
huh.
You're into hot dogs. I'm telling you,
And
it's
this is
very
from the
good.
hot dog guy.
I'm a hot dog boy.
Jordy, you
This is
never
Mr.
tried the
Whoopski
Sonoran
over
dog like I asked you to.
But like, have you tried the Sonoran dog?
I have before I was a vegetarian. It's bomb.
Wait,
Yeah, so what's your excuse, you
I
piece
didn't
of
mean that
shit?
to be a burn, but
What?
last before he goes, can you do an order from Superdog for us?
Yes. Welcome to Super Dog. What can we get you?
yeah, I'd like a super fries, super shrimp, super dog, a whoopski burger, a super shrimp, a super chicken midgies, and a whoopski shake to knock it all off. All right,
Don't
you get
forget a whoopski cake.
Okay, yeah, we got it. Thank you. Please pull around.
nothing like inside jokes on a podcast.
It's like 3333 at the window. Please pull up.
I think that's going to be the clip for Instagram. That was great.
Yeah, whoopski.
Wait, the
No, yeah, you're gonna make Jillian's episode not use the
Please.
clip for me.
I'm afraid
that was the best part.
You might have just done it.
I didn't mean that's the best part, but it's a nice little. That was a nice bit, you know.
I gotta go home. You kids have fun.
Okay,
Love you,
Jordan.
Jordy.
Thank you for, ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Lipschutz.
Give some chickies some love for me.
Hold on, and then
Well, we should probably wrap up soon. We've been going
Yeah.
almost like.
Yeah, what the
Well, it's hard to
heck?
tell because we had some issues at first, but I bet we're at like an hour and a half right now.
And Lord knows you've been sitting at that desk all day at the computer. So
It's true, though. First of all, another thing as a avid podcaster, the fact that we're like, what are we at? Oh my God, it's been so quick. Again, like these things that I hear every day of my life, I'm now a part of.
Yeah.
No, welcome to the podcast.
Well,
life.
we look forward to having you back and having people back. Like, kind of like the first episode is almost like, let's just get one out, you know? So now like, then next time we'll just, I don't know. I'm excited for the future that we can always just kind of have our friends on here and to chat.
Yeah, and thank you. We were like, we've been kind of falling behind because of all the vacationing and everything. And Paul's like, I'm just going to reach out to Jillian. And it was a relief to, know that it was going to be you. It was just, it was good. So thank you for jumping on.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Last minute. That's something
it
you hear
was
on
very
podcasts
last
too. Thank you for
minute.
doing this last minute. This was
You're welcome. Sorry, you froze, but now you're
yeah, you're frozen, but we hear you.
Let's try,
Now you're slow motion, actually.
let's try to say goodbye before we freeze
I
again.
did that.
Well, yeah, Jilly, thank you for doing this. Can you hear us? Because I'm going to compliment you.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love
Yeah.
you, Jilly.
You're a very special, important part of our life, and we're grateful for you and grateful for you to be a guest on the show.
You both as well, each individually and together.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jilly.
Thank you.
We love you. All right.
All
we'll
right.
catch up with you again
Yeah.
soon.
Oh, give me the compliment. Love you guys.
Jillian Punishment, everybody.
Yeah!